What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Hey, everybody. Let me know. Mic check. How do I sound? Can everybody hear me? Hey, happy hump day to everybody. Happy hump day. Hey, Castro Cannon. What's up, my love? Hey, everybody. What's going on, you guys? What's going on? How's everybody doing? We gonna get into this. Now listen, let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all follow me on TikTok. If y'all follow me on TikTok, then y'all already know how I felt about last night's episode of this reunion. So we are getting ready to talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, the reunion part 2 of the reunion. Um, and if you follow me down to the TikTok, then you already know how I felt about what we witnessed last night, and we're about to get into it in a minute. I'm trying to find my cloth to wipe my glasses with. I need to wipe my eyeglasses. Where's my cloth? So I keep telling y'all, if y'all could see what's over here on this little area that I keep next to me with between my lipstick and my other stuff. Here we go. All right, you guys. So let me come through and say hello to everybody. Anybody that is on the northern area of the East Coast, you guys, please be safe out there with this air. Please wear your mask when you are going outside. You see what New York looks like. We were under an advisory today down here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. They canceled all after school activities for the kids. They didn't, well, outside, excuse me. They canceled all outside activities for the kids today. They didn't want them out there. So you guys be careful if you are on the East Coast, especially the northern part of the East Coast. Okay, let me say hi to the people, and do we are great jump into this. Hey, Karay, what's up, Lemon Kush? Hey, Amber, Virgin Love. Lily is me. Hey, Tracy. I do know how I feel about the Real Housewives reunion. It was so good. Davina, best reunion in a long time across the franchise. Castro Cannon, Miss Bay Thing, Sharon Ware. Hey, Lock Queen, Nap Queen. Girl, it's orange outside. Yeah, you be very careful, Tracy, because you're in the northern part of the state. You be very careful, my love. Be very careful out there. Congratulations on the 2.2 thousand views on last night's video. Thank you. I appreciate it, you guys. Listen. We had the clown, child. Clown the clown. So, got my candle burning. Let me say this, baby. So let me just give y'all my breakdown a little bit. I Hey Charlie, what's going on? I At this point, I've been watching enough Housewives for enough years. Even before I started doing YouTube, I've been watching for enough years that when it comes to these, I remember when they first started doing 2-part and 3-part reunions, right? For the most part, I've generally been underwhelmed. Like, it has its moments, it has its spots, but overall, okay, y'all can hear me now. I should be back. Y'all should be able to hear me now. No, what the hell? Testing. All right, can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? The chat's not moving. Child, hold on. Let me look and see. Let me look and see if y'all can hear me. The chat's not moving up here, so let me go. Hold on, y'all. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, the chat wasn't moving, child. I was like, Lord have mercy. Okay. I don't know what's going on. The one thing I know that I cannot wait to do as soon as school lets out is to make my appointment for the people to come and give me a new router, because at this point I have tried everything. They have resent the signal, they have done everything, and at this point I think I just need a new router. Anyway, moving on. I have pretty much gotten used to the idea that these reunions, again, they don't always have to be no three-parters. That's a hit or miss or whatever. So last week I watched part one of the reunion and I was like, okay, this was pretty good. Last week was pretty good. Okay. Did my review. Okay. And I said I would go live for the third part. Baby, I watched that episode last night. I was mad that the bishop had went live and he took up my time. Because, baby, that reunion last night, oh, I wish I could have went live last night. But I said, no, it's okay. I'm going to go live when I get home. I done watched that reunion twice, and I still got some notes. So I'm going to need y'all help in the chat. If I missed something, y'all put it in the chat. I'm going to drop the link. I got a little bit of time today. So if you guys want to come up and you want to add your 2 cents, let me get through my commentary, and then I will drop the link if y'all want to add y'all's 2 cents, okay? And let me say this before I get started. I do try my best to be unbiased. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest. I try my best to be unbiased. So I am not team anybody, but I will say this. I think Teresa is a liar. So, do I think that Melissa is perfect? Hell no. But I think that Teresa's a liar. So, it may seem a little biased, but it's not biased. I just believe Teresa's a liar. And I believe Louis is trouble. And we're going to get into all of that. But I believe Louis is trouble, and I feel bad for Teresa because I really feel like Teresa, I don't think she's going back to camp, but I definitely think she's going to get her heart broken. I really do. And I think that, what are we in season 13? So we got season 14. I think by season 15, the storyline is going to be her trying to rekindle her relationship with her brother because she's realized that all that's glitter ain't gold over with Louis. That's my prediction. I was right about Ashley Darby and her storyline for the last 3 seasons. For those of you who've been watching me, y'all know that I predicted Ashley Darby's storyline for the last 3 seasons. Even going into this next season, I predicted her storyline for the next 3 seasons. Last season, the season before that, and this season coming. For the Tracy, you've been rocking with me. For those people that's been rocking with me, y'all know. I think that next season, the storyline is going to be a little bit more of the same. I think that between the filming of next season and them getting ready for season 15, I think that shit is going to hit the fan with Louis. And I think that Teresa's storyline is going to be about the downfall, whatever happened with Louis, and her rebuilding her relationship with her family. Remember, she does not have a prenup. So I even predict that she might even have to be working. Like some people might say, well, why would she stay on the show? Baby, she might not have no choice. Because I don't think that all that glitters is gold around them parts. Okay? Sharon, you agree with me? Okay. It may take her some years. She stood by her ex for a while and through a lot. Well, let me say this. It may take longer. You're right. It may take longer. But after listening to that podcast, we talked about that a little bit earlier this week, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in this episode. But after listening to that podcast, Teresa ain't as innocent as she tried to play, or as people try to allow her to pretend when it comes to this whole situation with her and her husband. Matter of fact, let's just start there because that was the first segment of the reunion. They were talking about, we left off last week with Teresa accusing Melissa of being the one to call the FBI. Now, I need y'all to pay attention that Teresa changed her story in mid-story. At the beginning of her argument, she said Melissa was the one that called the feds, and she's got proof. Then she said, well, Melissa and Joe were hanging out with her business with the business partners who didn't go to jail, and so she believes that they're the ones that called the feds. Then she said that her brother called the feds, but her brother was trying to get her ex-husband in trouble, not realizing that she was knee-deep in it and got her in trouble. The woman told 3 different stories in 5 minutes. So at the end of the day, let me refresh you all's memory for the people who weren't here the other day when we had this conversation. Let me and if you really want the breakdown, or you don't know the whole story, or you weren't here for the story, if you really want the breakdown, or you want to remember the breakdown, Bravo TV Docket. It's a podcast. It's 2 attorneys. They break down any legal case that's ever happened with anything dealing with Bravo. They have covered it on, well, I can say anything, but most of the Bravo stories they have covered. And they did a three-part series on the Teresa Joe Gudice, which is the proper way to say it. It's not Judice, it's Gudice. Anyway, that's the proper Italian pronunciation. Anyway, they break the whole thing down. And let me explain something to anybody who is in any. I think that everybody told that story, and Bravo allowed that story to be out there because it made it easier for them to continue to do business with Teresa, and everybody else who wanted to continue to do business with Teresa, it made it easy. But let's be clear, Teresa's hands were about halfway dirty. Now, I ain't gonna say they was 100% dirty, but I do think that Teresa was culpable in a lot of what happened, and her ending up in jail. First of all, they were already under investigation before she went on the show. I don't understand these people who go on reality shows knowing that their whole life is going to be scrutinized, and they got closets. I mean, they got skeletons hanging out the closet. I never understood it. I will never understand it. Okay. Now, granted, reality TV 15 years ago, because they're in season 13, so you figure give or take hiatuses and stuff. They've been doing the show for about 15, 16 years. Granted, reality TV was a little different 16, 15 years ago, but you know that you're potentially putting your business in the streets, as they say. They were already under investigation for mortgage fraud before they went on the show. In the process of their investigation of mortgage fraud, they got over $3 million in fraudulent mortgages. Let me explain to you guys some of the paperwork that was signed. And some of it Joe Gorga did say he signed, other things Teresa signed. They made up a whole job for Teresa with fraudulent W-2s and everything else. Now, ma'am, you knew you didn't have a job. You knew you were a housewife, and there's nothing disrespectful about it. You had 4 girls in less than 6 years. You deserve to be an at-home, stay-at-home mom. I ain't tripping off of that. But you knew you wasn't getting up every day going to a job. Joe said he was trying to keep up the extravagant lifestyle she wanted. I'm not putting all that on Teresa. I'm not putting all that on Teresa. I think Joe wanted that lifestyle as well because, again, he was the one that was out here doing it. I don't think, I'm not gonna put all that on Teresa. But neither here nor there, Teresa, you were culpable. You knew you, and then they weren't filing their taxes. So you may or may not have known about the tax issue, and I get that. But they weren't filing their taxes. That is who told the feds. The local authorities, in their investigation for the mortgage fraud, realized that Teresa and Joe Gorga were not paying taxes. So not only were y'all stealing money through these fraudulent mortgages, but then you weren't even paying taxes on the stolen money. That is who notified the feds. Let's be clear. The other thing that's important to understand is they kept lying even after the investigation. They kept lying. Even when they filed for bankruptcy, they omitted income on their bankruptcy to the point where the trustee over their bankruptcy sent their paperwork back 3 separate times. 1, 2, 3, 3 separate times, and said, fix this, you forgot something. Fix this, you forgot something. Okay? And on top of all of that, if you go back to the original case, the judge who ended up sending Teresa to jail said, I wasn't going to send you to jail. I was really just going to give you probation because it is your first offense. It's a nonviolent offense. However, comma, you kept lying. Teresa, not Joe. Teresa, the judge said to her, you kept lying. So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that people didn't cooperate if the FBI called them. I'm not even going to say that people didn't cooperate to keep their ass out of jail. But nobody snitched on you to the FBI, Teresa. Get that out of your head. Nobody said, ooh, that Teresa and Joe Judice or Judice, let me call the FBI and make sure they know what's going on. No, the local authorities called the FBI when they found out your asses weren't paying taxes. Now, again, that doesn't mean that people didn't cooperate. But for you to just keep trying to make it everybody else's fault, girl, stop. The first 2 years on the show, they showed Teresa spending that money like crazy. Remember, she paid cash for furniture on the show. Season 1, thousands upon thousands. Y'all know I didn't start watching the show from day one. So I think they both were too, just adding to your comment that Teresa was like, oh, no, you good, Donna. You good, babe, you good. But that's what I'm saying. I just think, again, do I think that Joe Gorga was the mastermind? Yes. Do I think that Joe Gorga was more guilty than Teresa as far as how much he did and how much he knew? Yes, I do. But I don't think that Teresa was this, like, before I started watching this show, I always heard, oh, Teresa just signed the papers. Teresa just signed the papers. She didn't know. Joe did it. It was her husband. It was her husband. But the more and more I watched the show, and then after listening to that podcast, I said, oh, Teresa ain't innocent. And the judge even said he wasn't going to send her to jail. He was just going to give her probation. But her ass, like, for example, and I'm going to say this and then we're going to move on. And if you were here earlier this week, you know this example. Here's the example that they used in the documents. When they filed their bankruptcy paperwork, Teresa had just signed her book deal to do the Skinny Italian cookbook. I think she did that season 2. She had just signed her book deal. She got a $250,000 advance. She didn't put that on her bankruptcy paperwork. You thought the feds was going to forget about $250,000? Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. They didn't put their car on their bankruptcy. Ma'am, y'all drive that car every day. You didn't know you had a Cadillac? Why wouldn't you put that on your bankruptcy paperwork? You signed off on that. You signed off on that. And again, the trustee sent the paperwork back 3 times and told them, this isn't right. Y'all need to fix it. So again, it's not like you didn't know. And so anyway, moving on. And now she's lying that she doesn't know that Louis is threatening people. Baby, Teresa is lying. If you were watching Teresa's face as certain things were coming out, Teresa knows exactly what's going on. She's not stupid. I know that I think Teresa plays dumb blonde. I think Teresa is pulling a Jessica Simpson on us. I do not think Teresa is that stupid as she plays on this show. And I'm gonna tell you why. 2 things, 2 reasons why I don't think she's as stupid. I don't think she's as stupid as she pretends to be, Aquarius goddess. I don't think she is. And I'm gonna tell you why. Go back and look at Ultimate Girls Trip. When Teresa was on Ultimate Girls Trip, I got a different side of Teresa on Ultimate Girls Trip. She didn't play dumb blonde, except for when it came to Louis. She did, child. Oh, Louis, he loves me so much. He sent me a letter for every day that I'm gone to tell me how much he missed me. Now, when it came to Louis, she did, child. Now, I'm not saying that Teresa would win Jeopardy. Now, that's not what I'm saying either. But I do not think she's as stupid as she pretends to be. But that's just me. Now, I'm not saying that she don't have some deficiencies in some areas. But when it comes to certain things, Teresa ain't stupid. Yet there are there's still tree stumps out here defending her. It is. Louis is about to take Teresa to the cleaners. Baby, I think he is, Aquarius. I think he is. So that was the first segment. Child, I got notes everywhere because, baby, that thing last night, that was so good last night. And that's the other thing too, Teresa. Now let me take back what I just said. I said Teresa's not stupid. I think I'm gonna have to find another word because stupid isn't the word I want to use. I just think that Teresa is more cunning. Maybe that's the word I want to use. Teresa is more cunning than I think we give her credit for. Maybe smart isn't the word that I want to use. Maybe cunning. Cunning might be a good word. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, on Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip, she called out Ramona. Yeah, and then when you hear her talk on Ultimate Girls Trip, she talked about all her businesses. She talked about her books. She was able. She had some very articulate conversations with Kenya, with Cynthia. Like again, we saw glimpses of it, but not to the extent. She's manipulative and a liar. She absolutely is, Melly. And I said that. That's how I started. I said, I don't, I'm not on to Melissa's side because again, I'm not saying Melissa is an angel and Melissa is perfect. However, I think that I do think that Teresa's a liar. If you ask me who I believe, Melissa or Teresa, I would believe Melissa over Teresa. And that doesn't mean that Melissa's innocent. But okay. Then they brought up this whole thing with Jackie and that other, I think Jen, who's not on the show anymore. And Melissa read this whole text. She was like, you're believing her after what she did to you. And then she proceeded to read these text messages from this woman. First of all, those text messages are from 2021. Second of all, those text messages are between her and Jackie. And at that time, that was when her and Jackie were battling because because Teresa was spreading the rumor about Jackie's husband. So I don't know. I mean, the woman said that stuff, and it is what it is. I mean, it made for like a moment, but I did too, Aquarius, and that's the thing. I liked Teresa on Ultimate Girls Trip. It gave me a different side of her. It really gave me a different side of her, and I felt differently. I was like, wait a minute, I like this Teresa. I agree. I liked her on the Ultimate Girls Trip. I really did. And then the next season of New Jersey started, and I was like, oh well, we right back where we started. All right. So then I'm gonna be honest, I ain't going too deep into that because you know, I don't really know that whole story with that girl. But and I think the point that Melissa was making was now you're taking this woman's word about what she said about me, about what I allegedly said to her, but she was talking shit about you and she wasn't your friend either. And so yeah. Then we have Rachel's segment. So this is where we first start hearing a lot of this Louis stuff. And it got deep. It really got deep this episode. Not because she was still meddling with Melissa about coming to the show. Yeah, she was. She did bring that up, Donna. She did bring that up. So they do Rachel's segment. They talk about how she had two children under the age of 2. They talk about the adoption, that she has fully adopted her son. Andy asked her, was that just a storyline? People were accusing her of just doing it as a storyline. And Dolores vouched for her that this is something that they've talked about for years. So she didn't agree or feel like it was just a storyline. Um, then her and Jennifer get into it over this nose job situation. What I deduce from this part of the story is that Jennifer called Rachel to give her the breakdown of who's who on the show because Rachel allegedly told her that she doesn't watch the show. Hey, L Love. She allegedly told her that she doesn't watch the show. So this was her whole breakdown of, well, this is who's who and what's what on the show. Rachel interpreted that as Jennifer called me up to talk ish about Marge. Um, and I felt some kind of way about it. And Jennifer says allegedly that's why she made the comment about her nose job. Jennifer, you meant exactly what you said. You called that woman out about her nose job because you wanted to throw that out there because you wanted to say something nasty and snide about that woman's nose job. You did it. You said what you meant and you meant what you said. But the joke on was, or what the I guess the turnaround was, you allegedly reached out to Rachel's doctor to fix your bad nose job. Now, of course, Jackie said that's not true. I mean, Jennifer said that's not true, that she never had anybody fix her nose job. She's only had one nose job, and it wasn't true. But again, I don't believe Jennifer lying ass either, and I believe Rachel. I believe Jennifer reached out to that man to fix her nose job because she is so subconscious about the nose job. And the gag is, thank you, Melly. I love it when y'all know what I'm trying to say. Um, and it is what it is. Hey, Jamil, page 6 saying Jennifer claims Andy is rude to her most of the time. Well, I think it's pretty clear that Andy don't really care for Jennifer. But none of us, well, I ain't gonna say nobody. I'm not crazy about Jennifer. I never have been. I've only been watching, this is what, my third season watching Real Housewives, and I just don't like Jennifer. I don't. I think she's rude. I think she is obnoxious. I think she is an elitist. And I think that she harps on shit. She just harps and harps and harps and harps on shit. Andy is rude to Jennifer. I think he is, but I think Jennifer be asking for it. Child, when Andy told them they was acting like assholes last night, I was done. I said, I know that's right. I said, Andy is over y'all. Andy said all y'all was acting like, he said y'all was acting like some assholes. Okay, he was sick of y'all. Andy was sick of y'all last night. Okay, he was sick of y'all. Y'all kept talking over him. You kept cutting him off. You wouldn't stop after he asked you to stop. Y'all always had to have the last word. Teresa and Melissa, Teresa and Marge, Jennifer and Marge, Jennifer and Rachel. I'm sick of y'all too. If Rachel stays on the show, I bet she'll get another nose job. Rachel will probably fix that nose job, and Jennifer's gonna fix hers. I really think, quite as Kevin Loud as it is, I really think Jennifer did have some more work done because her nose really looks better than it did last season to me. But I think her. I mean, I don't know if it's her makeup artist doing the contouring, but her nose looks better to me. I really feel like she did have another nose job, but that's just me, child. I don't know. They need a new reunion host. They don't respect Andy. Mm. Oh, child. So let me go back to my notes. So that was the whole thing with the nose job. So then we get on. I need this cast to take a year off and all then come back. I feel like they need some time away from the camera. Well, they're on pause. They were supposed to start filming, but they are on pause. I think they're not going to start filming until August. So they getting about a 6 month. They getting about a 6 month window. I believe they're not going to start filming until August. I believe is what I read. Hold on, I got two sets of notes. I got notes on my phone and I have notes on here. So let me check my notes on my phone before I move on because we about to get into this Louis stuff. So let me get my note. Okay, Melissa and Teresa, who put who in jail? Well, hanging out with partners. Teresa didn't have to go to jail. Teresa has proof from who? Yeah, Teresa claims she got proof that Melissa called the FBI. Child, you ain't got no damn proof because anybody that works at the FBI ain't telling you nothing. And if it's not already in your paper, first of all, you went through a whole, well, you didn't go through a trial, you pled guilty. But there's discovery and everything else. Girl, if you ain't heard by now who called the feds on you, you don't know who called the feds, child. All right, Jackie text messages, Rachel. Okay, okay. All right. So, allegedly, here's where the Louis stuff comes in. Allegedly, now y'all know at the season finale last year of this season, excuse me, Louis told everybody that he had a private investigator um investigating all of them. All of them. Now I did something today that I normally don't do. So much stuff happened last night that I listened to a couple of reviews. That's why I got notes on my phone. I listened to a couple of reviews because I said I want to make sure I don't miss none of this. And something that a lot of people were saying, well, not a lot, but a couple of the people that I looked at were saying, well, why would Louis do anything to Rachel? Because Rachel and Teresa didn't really get into it this season. Well, here's my counter argument to that. I think Louis is the kind of person that sees the enemy everywhere. Um, and so does Teresa. Y'all know how Teresa is. Teresa is one of those, either you 100% with me or you're an enemy. That's why Dolores better watch her back. Because did y'all see how many times? Yeah, Bo Diddy. Did y'all see how many times that Dolores didn't agree with Teresa last night? Dolores, you better watch your back. They already said that Dolores and Teresa fell out, that they ain't cool no more. But now I see why. Because every time Andy asked Dolores something, Dolores would never definitively back up Teresa. Even when it came down to, do you think Melissa called the feds? And she was like, I mean, I would hope that a brother wouldn't call the feds on his sister. She ain't come right out and say, well, yeah, Teresa talked to me about it, and I believe Teresa. She every single time Andy deferred to Dolores. Did y'all pay attention to that? Dolores never sided with Teresa. The closest she came was when Melissa was reading those text messages from that lady, and she was like, "Don't do this, Melissa. Melissa, this isn't going to end well for you." But I think she was talking about the lady whose text messages she was reading. She wasn't talking about Teresa. Oh, Aquarius, word on the curb is Teresa and Dolores fell out after the wedding. That's the word on the curb. Now, when I say fell out, I don't think they're like actively cussing each other out and fighting, but they're not as cool. They're not as tight as they were. And again, watching this reunion, I can see it. I can see it. And again, I don't know that to be true, but I could definitely see it. So, Dolores is a fence rider. Ciao. So here's where we get the first little situation with Louis. Allegedly, Rachel accused Louis of contacting her stepson's biological mother. She was in jail. Allegedly, an investigator reached out to her, and that is how the blogs allegedly Louis was feeding that information to the blogs of where this woman was, who this woman was, and then the woman started talking to the blogs saying that Rachel and her husband were stopping the son from having a relationship with her. Were stopping the son from talking to her. Um, that is allegedly. And that is the first accusation where Louis' name came up um outside of what Melissa and them have said. This is because what we got in this episode was that other cast members were having issues as it relates to Louis and this private investigator. And let me say this. I know that all of the people who spoke last night were people who were on the other side of the couch um from Teresa, but I do not think that they were all lying. That's my opinion. I think that they have very strong feelings and a very strong reason to believe that Louis is in some hoo ha ha. And again, I'm gonna keep going down as we continue to talk. But allegedly, Louis' PI reached out to the biological mom, put that information out about where she was, that she was in jail, whatever, whatever, whatever. And allegedly, that's how the blogs were able to get in touch with her. And now she's been talking to the blog saying that Rachel and her husband are keeping her son away from her. Now, let me say this. This is a side note. This is my 2 cents based on what I know. Okay, this is my 2 cents based on what I know about people. This reunion sounds like it was good. I need to go back. It was Lily is me. Ooh, baby. It ain't even got listen. The one thing they said was that a lot of stuff was gonna come out that wasn't on the show. And baby, last night's episode, if last night's episode was the build up to next week's finale, baby, because I'm gonna say probably 60% of this reunion was new information. And that hardly ever happens at a reunion. Usually we are just rehashing what people saw and the people's response to it, the viewers' response, what was in social media. But baby, we got new information stuff. We saw deleted scenes. We got all kinds of stuff last night that we know nothing about. Hey, cool gamer, what's up, boo? So let me say this to this part of the storyline. What we found out, and again, I know it's one side of the story, so let me say this. I'm gonna preface by saying I know we only have one side of the story, but here's the side. Here's what I know. It sounds like this young man's mother, at best, was inconsistently in his life. At best, she was an inconsistent part of his life, right? He, the father has had full custody this boy's whole life, and we already know that that is very rare for a mother to lose full custody. There had to be either she signed over custody or there had to be some extreme situations for a father to have full custody from damn near infancy. We know that that's not common. So we know that we when I say we, I'm gonna say me. I ain't gonna say y'all. I'm gonna say me. Then I feel like there had to be an extreme situation or situations that would lead to Fuda having full custody of his son from birth, damn near. That's number one. Number two. Oh, L Love, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at what you said. So number two, at the very least, at the very least, we know that. Now, right, the mother has been in and out of jail and has had substance abuse problems. So that leads me to believe when you add the fact that this woman has been in and out of jail and she's had substance abuse problems, that leads me to believe that there's a whole lot of broken promises on this road. There's a lot of baby, I'm gonna come and see you, and she don't show up. Or baby, I'm not gonna do it again, and her ass end up back in jail. Or baby, and broken. We know that that is just the pathology of someone who has a substance abuse problem. Even if they don't mean to do it, that addiction wins out. We know it. We've seen it a million times, whether in our own family. Thank you, cool gamer. Mwah. Whether in our own families or hell, TV, whatever. So, do I believe that this woman has been inconsistent in this young man's life? I do. I absolutely believe she's been inconsistent in his life. And with that being said, I don't think that John has to keep him away. I think what Rachel said is he doesn't want to see his mother. And I believe it. And this young man, he's in high school now. He's old enough to see and understand. And I do believe that he doesn't have any interest in seeing his mother. I don't think that John has to keep him away. I think he doesn't want to see him. Now, does John, I mean, I keep saying John Fuda. I don't know if that's the man first name. I'm just gonna say Fuda. Now, is he making the young man try to build a relationship with the mother? Maybe, maybe not. But at this point, that child is old enough to make his own decision. And I think that the child is making a decision not to have a relationship with his mother. Now, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I like your stream. Thank you. Cool gamer. Thank you. Now, that's my 2 cents. Okay. So when they bring up the whole PI thing, here's the stuff that make Teresa, this is the stuff that make you look guilty, Teresa. The stuff that makes you look guilty. You were like, when Rachel said something about who does that, who hires somebody to investigate their castmates like that, why would he do that? Teresa's response was, well, you just mad you can't afford a PI? Ma'am, that's the kind of shit that make you look like you guilty. In that second to last episode, when they were talking to the son, you saw his face frown when they told him they needed to reach out to. Right, he has no interest in spending time with his mom. And again, I think it has a lot to do with the years and years and years of broken. I'm getting sick and tired of your broken promises. I just think that's what it is. That's just my 2 cents. So then they bring out Jen Fessler and Jackie Goldschneider. Jackie Fessler had some work done, baby, and she looked good. Okay, I thought because I've seen her, like I think on Watch What Happens Live or whatever, and I thought she had just lost some weight. But baby, she had a facelift. She said she had a facelift, a nose job, and something else done. And some life. I think she probably has some lipo. I think so. But she looked good. Let me tell you, I've told y'all this a million times. I don't judge people who have the means and are healthy enough to have these procedures done. I only become concerned when I feel like it becomes an addiction and you go overboard. But she looks good. Fastener looks good. She said that she got a lot of blowback from the James Gandolfini story. She said a lot of people were like, "Well, he's not here to defend himself. He's not here to say whether it's true or not." And she was like, "Why the hell would I lie?" But we know that a lot of people lie on their bedroom notches. A lot of people lie on their bedroom notches, child. But I think she's telling the truth about James Gandolfini, and she was clear to say this was before he got married. I'm not saying he cheated on his wife. I'm not even saying I was the love of his life, child. All I'm saying is when I was young and he was young, he was in Hollywood trying to make it. I was a talent agent. Baby, we had this little on again, off again booty call situation, and it was good. She didn't even try to turn it into no great love affair. You know, she was honest about that. At least I believe her story. I believe her story. Pat, when you go out, you need to be wearing a mask. I gotta pull my mask out of the. Yeah, I gotta pull my mask out of the wherever I got them, child. With this with the air. Yeah, well, you know that smoke is coming down. Mm-hmm. Really, be I just came in, so I'm asking, is them red lips for that man? What man? I wish. Ah. What man? I wish I had me a man. Child. She said she's on Ozempic and got her facelift and a nose job. I think a breast job too. Oh, I didn't hear her say Ozempic. Okay. Which brings me to that. They asked Jackie about being demoted, and she said that it did bother her to become a friend of the show. She said it really bothered her at first. She said, however, it probably was a blessing in disguise because she really wasn't in a good space. She had picked up a lot of weight. She was feeling some kind of way about it. She's still in recovery from, her eating disorder. Hey, KK, she's still in recovery. Um, and so she said it gave her an opportunity to really get in a good space, to really be in a healthy space, and to work on her book, which she said is going to be called, what she said, the weight of beauty. I thought that was a good name, the weight of beauty. I thought that was a good title. Um, and I think it'll be a good education book. Because we saw it in real time. We saw it, and she does look healthier. She has put on weight in a good way, because I don't ever want to, when somebody is dealing with a eating disorder, it's in a good way. It's in a good way. Um, I'm gonna get to that, L Love, because baby, I got some comments on that. It's really bad here in New York. The sky turned brown around 1:30 in the afternoon. I never saw that in my life. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And I've said that, O Street, before you came in. I said that all my people that are up north, you guys be careful. Put your mask on, please, and thank you. Make sure that a friend of mine, my girlfriend whose daughter is on Broadway, I was looking at her Instagram stories today, and she was talking about people needing to wear their mask, and she was walking past a restaurant. She was like, I can't believe people are eating outside. Like, people were literally outside eating and chilling. I'm like, do you not see all that damn smoke in the sky? Why y'all outside eating y'all food? But child, you can't tell people nothing. You can't tell people nothing. But she does. She looks really, really good. She looks really, really good. Okay. They asked Jackie about Ozempic. And I think she gave a good answer. She said, she is not here to tell somebody what they should or shouldn't, do to get them where they need to be. She said, but her concern is at a certain point, you have to come off of the medicine. And once you come off the medicine, what does that look like? And, she's worried about what that looks like and as far as that's concerned. But I think she gave a really politically correct answer. Um, you know, so because Dolores has been honest that she's taking it, she's taking Ozempic, and I didn't think. I mean, you can't tell somebody else what they see in the mirror, but I always thought Dolores looked good, and we know that she's not above having surgery either, so I thought she looked good. All right, so I was going to say something. Damn. Hold on, let me look at my other notes because it was something I was going to say. Let me see if it's in my notes. My other note. Louis reached out to the bio mom. Jennifer claimed Rachel didn't watch the show. Nose job. Oh, I will say this, dog. Rachel, y'all know I've said this before. When these people come on these shows and be like, I never watched the show. Girl, yes, you did. Stop it. You watched the show. You knew who was who and what was what, child. Oh, that's what I knew that's what it was. So somebody just said Teresa thinks she's the white whale or whatever. Listen, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if y'all was paying attention. I'm kind of all over the place with this one, but I want to say it before I forget to bring up this point. I don't know if y'all was paying attention or not, but last week and last night's episode, Teresa did a whole lot of threatening. Teresa kept threatening Melissa, talking about, I can't wait to never see you again. I can't wait to never see you again. And Melissa was like, well, what do you mean? Well, oh, you're leaving the show. She said, I'm not, you are. And she kept threatening Melissa. She kept throwing those things out. Did y'all peep how Andy was responding to Teresa and these threats that Teresa was throwing out? Did y'all peep that? One time, Andy even mumbled, good luck with that. Well, let me know how that turns out. Something to that effect. I ain't writing that, but something along those lines. I feel like there are certain things, they put up with a lot of stuff on this show. And they allow the Nenes, the Teresas, the Vanderpumps, they allow certain people to throw their weight around. They do. But there are certain things that pisses them off. And when you start acting like you really running the show and you really have that much control and you can get somebody fired, it'd be one thing if Teresa was maneuvering behind the scenes, right? Calling up production, calling up Andy, that kind of stuff she probably would get away with. But for her to publicly basically threaten Melissa and fire her like she is running the show, I don't know if that's going to turn out too well for Teresa. I feel like they're going to bring back Melissa just out of spite, to be honest. I feel like they'll bring Melissa back just out of spite at this point. Teresa really thinks she's the girl in charge, and I believe that Louis has put a battery in her back to make her think she is bigger than Bravo. Oh, absolutely he has. But Teresa already thinks that she didn't need much help. She already thinks that she running something over there. So yeah, Teresa, you can keep playing that if you want to. I don't think that's going to end well for you, boo boo. But anyway. Okay. They stopped filming not too long ago because of their beef. Who stopped filming not too long ago because of their beef? Who stopped filming, Catherine? You mean they stopped filming with each other, or you mean they stopped filming altogether? Because the show is on pause. The show, they're not filming right now. And I just said that. I was just saying that I read. Hold on, who's this calling me? I don't know who that is. Yeah, they never started filming. They never started filming. After the reunion, they're on pause. They're on pause. Wait a minute, I say never. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me read. I can't keep up with who's filming, who's not. I know right now they're not filming. Let me not say they never started filming. I know right now they're not filming. They have put the show on pause, and the last thing I read was they are not filming. They're not going to be filming until after the summer. They are on pause until August. That's the last thing I read, is that they're not filming until August. There is tea that came out today that Teresa has hired a publicist and paid them to do a smear campaign on Margaret, and Bravo's lawyers were contacted about the deal, and now they are investigating. Oh, O Street, can you send me? Do you have that article? I would love to read it. RB the podcast at gmail.com. Can you send that for me, please? Because I have something else we're going to talk about at the end of this, too. All right, I'm trying to get through it, child. But there was so much last night. So then we get to, from there, the men show up. And the men are divided into two groups. The men are divided into two groups. We have on one group Frank, Joe, and Margaret's husband. Oh, you'll send me the pod. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Frank, Joe, and Margaret's husband, and Fuda. That was the one room, and then the other room was Louis, Danielle's husband, Jennifer's husband, and I think Evan. Although I don't know why Evan was there, but I think Evan might have been there, but I don't know. And Frank was saying how he's never seen it like this before. He was like, it's never been this bad. I've never seen it like this before. He said, this is all new. Um, the girls have gotten into their arguments before, but it's never been like this. And I understand what he means because we continue to find out throughout this episode that a lot of this stuff is going outside of the scope of the show. And it's getting very, very Paulie. Yeah, that's who it was, Paulie. Thank you, Paulie. Polly was in the other room. So, with Louis. Polly was in that room with Louis. Well, we then see a deleted scene between Frank and Joe Gorga, where Frank was talking about how Frank Jr. had been working for for Louis, but then he found out, like, all of a sudden one day the company closed and Louis wouldn't return his phone calls. And how he couldn't get Louis on the phone. And Frank was like, he didn't understand what that was about. Like, why would Louis do that? Like, what was the problem? Why, the company just closed out of nowhere. And why wouldn't he call him? Why wouldn't he talk to him? And I said, see, this stuff is getting deep. This stuff is getting outside of the scope, right? Um, Frank also said that Louis had been DMing him, but they didn't go too deep into that. I think we're gonna get that next week when all the guys come out. But he also said that Louis had been in his DMs. Not sure. I don't. If they said it, put it in the chat because I don't have it right here. Why did they cut that scene? I don't know. I don't know why they cut it. I'm sorry. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is somebody just sent me a text, but I think they might have the wrong phone number because I don't know who they talking about. Hey, this is Keisha Alina. PFF today is arranged with your boyfriend, and we're going out tomorrow to something. Yeah, I think they got the wrong. I don't know who this is. All right, sorry. I was opening up my phone to get to my notes, and I saw that. Okay. Um. Okay. So Dolores' man Paulie distracts me with his looks. He had his eyes done, and they look strange. He had his eyes done. What did he do to his eyes? I don't know what they mean. I don't know what you mean. He had his eyes done. What did he do to his eyes, that love? All right. So let me make sure. Look, let me go in the order of my notes, child. Okay, Jackie. Okay. So then we did Marge's section. So we found out that Marge's ex-husband Jan, that he passed away last year. Back in August, I think it was. And so she talked about that, because she said, oh, he had a lid lift. Okay. Um, so they were talking about that. And then they got to talking about her friend Laura, who basically was this whole show because damn near everything that happened this season, any major storyline was because of Laura. The rumor about Melissa, her, telling with Marge and all of that, like all of this came from Laura, child. I don't know what that's about. So, so now that little Frankie has a real job with a real firm, is that why Big Frank is bringing it up because it's all resolved now? Maybe, maybe. Well, he brought it up on the show. Production just didn't show it. He brought it up on the show. I don't know. But remember during the season, they were celebrating. him having him getting his dream job. Remember that? They had a whole dinner and everything for him getting his dream job. So anyway, so Marge, so anyway, they get in this whole argument about Laura and what Laura said and what Laura didn't say. So ultimately, we find out that Laura was trying to get on the show. Marge actually took Laura to production for the last 2 seasons trying to get her on the show. It's not Marge's fault that production didn't want to put Laura on the show. Maybe she was boring. Maybe she didn't have enough of a storyline. Maybe she didn't have enough personality. Maybe they just went in a different direction. Like, we never know why production does the things that they do. But Marge said that Laura got upset that she didn't get on the show. So I guess she figured that she couldn't get on my show as a friend, that she'd get on my show as an enemy. And that's when she went to Teresa and Jennifer. Now, Jennifer's thing was, well, yeah, I listened to what she had to say because I was mad at Marge. And yeah, I wanted the ammunition because this happened while the show was playing back and all the stuff was coming out about the affair and all of that. So, yep, I was mad. And so, yeah, I listened to what Laura had to say. Teresa was like, well, he was talking, she was talking about my, I was worried about my brother because she was telling me information about Melissa cheating on my brother, and Melissa cheated on my brother, and Melissa was cheating on my brother. Like, so Teresa, you want us to believe, because she kept saying she didn't have anything to do with Louis calling him, because Melissa kept saying, so you call, if you were so concerned about these rumors, why would you call my husband over by himself? Why wouldn't you call me? Why wouldn't you want to talk to us as a couple? If you were so concerned about, your brother and these rumors and how terrible these rumors were, she said, so a part of you must have believed the rumors. You must have believed that I was cheating on my husband. Because why did y'all? And she kept saying, I didn't do that. Louis did that. Louis did that. Louis did that. Louis did that. So now she's trying to separate, and she did that during the show too. She's trying to separate herself, that she wasn't the one that called Joe over to the house to tell Joe about the rumors. It was Louis. She ain't had nothing to do with it. She ain't had nothing to do with it. They got into one of their arguing matches. That was one of the times that Andy was yelling at them and told them to shut up. They got back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So they were asking, well, then, Jennifer, why were you spreading the rumor about Melissa? And Jennifer they were like, don't you think that it's hypocritical of you to spread the rumors if you were so upset about them telling the affair, which weren't rumors, because Bill said he cheated on you, so it wasn't a rumor. You were so upset that Marge told the story, then why would you this season in turn around and do it to Melissa? And she was like, well, because Marge, and Melissa was like, but I didn't do it. Like, you were hurting me because you were trying to hurt Marge by spreading a rumor that Marge's friend said. She said, well, I believe, hey, y'all coming in. She said, well, I believe that it was true. I believe that Marge was saying it. But again, regardless of whether Marge was spreading the rumor, hell, regardless of whether the rumor was true or not, if you're mad at Marge, why are you spreading the rumor about Melissa? It's not connecting. You're mad at Marge, but you're spreading a rumor about Melissa. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Now, this is where we get the second story about Louis. Because Marge says, Louis called my son on his job and threatened him. Allegedly, Louis said, I'm the one you need to be worried about. Now, again, I was listening to other reviews today, and people were like, well, why would, to show Melissa that Marge isn't a good friend? I guess. Um, and I guess. Um, and a lot of people were like, well, why would they bother Marge's son? He's not even on the show. Nobody's ever seen him. Nobody knows anything about him. Again, y'all, this is me. This is really B talking. I believe that Louis is that guy. I believe that Louis is a narcissist. I believe. No. You, Cameron, y'all are fine. Donna, earlier, I guess it's the way I'm saying stuff, y'all. Y'all y'all, I'm fine. Y'all know y'all make me think. When y'all say stuff, y'all be making me think. So when you said that, that made sense. I didn't look at it from that point of view that they were trying to show Mars that Melissa was a bad friend. So that's why I was like, I guess. I wasn't saying it like you were wrong. Y'all make me think. Because listen, I see stuff from my point of view. Y'all give me different points of view. Cameron, I'm fine, boo. I'm fine. In Jen's defense, she was trying to show how Marge is the rumor starter. Okay, Art. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all are giving me a different perspective. So I believe that Louis is that narcissistic guy. I believe that Louis is the type of person that he wants everybody to know that he's in charge. That's what I believe. That's my opinion. I believe that Louis absolutely has an arsenal. Y'all want to talk about Marge having an arsenal and having a Rolodex of everybody's information? I absolutely believe that is the type of person that Louis is. And I absolutely believe that Louis will be the person that would call the son to let the son know, I can get to you. Your mother's out here on the show talking ish. Your mother's out here on the show telling people that I'm a bad person. Your mother is on this show trying to make people think that I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I can get to you. Because he's not on the show. Because we never have really heard or talked about Marge's son. And because Marge said he has the kind of job that's not out there in the public, I absolutely believe that Louis could do that. And I understand that people are like, well, why would he do it? I believe that's why. He wants everybody to know I can touch you. That's my opinion. Now, again, I don't know this man from a hole in the wall, but that is my opinion. Davina say she agree. L Love say I second that. Lisa say he just trash. But I believe that. I believe that he's that kind of person that be like, listen, I just want to let you know that I can. I just need you to know that I can. Teresa agrees with Louis because all the information he has, she feels helps her. She doesn't realize he was turned on. Right, because you think he ain't got an arsenal on you, Teresa Gaducci? You think he don't have one on you? He had one on you before he met you. Because I never, ever, ever, ever. I didn't need Melissa to say it. I didn't need Mars to say it. I never, ever, ever. Last year or the year before, I think it was the year before last, when Teresa told the story about how she met Louis, I never, ever, ever believed for 1 second that Louis did not know who she was. I didn't believe it. I almost don't believe it was accidental meeting. If you really want to know the truth of the matter, I think she was targeted. I think she was a play from the beginning. Now that's my 2 cents. Hey, Mr. Willie Brown, how you doing, my love? That's my opinion. That's how I feel. I feel like she was a mark from the beginning. I believe these stories from his ex-girlfriends, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. But I believe these stories from the ex-girlfriend. I believe this. I absolutely believe he's got arsenals on all these women, and I absolutely believe that he is playing games. I do. They said that all of the girls. They said that everybody, all of the housewives have been getting these spoof calls. They've been getting these. Andy said he's even been getting them these spoof calls. Were you getting them before Louis came around, Andy? Were you getting them before Louis? All of the housewives are getting these spoof calls, including Andy. Okay. Okay then. You felt the same way, powerful. I just feel that when Teresa told that story, it just didn't sound right to me. And he was coming on too strong. You know, they like that term love bombing now. That's the new term is love bombing. I feel like Louis was love bombing from the beginning. And Teresa was eating it up. You know why Teresa was eating it up? Because Teresa was so hurt. And Teresa is very limited in her experiences as it relates to men. She grew up very much, that traditional Italian, you got to find your man, stand by your man, have a bunch of babies, learn how to cook. I mean, not learn how to cook. Teach your kids how to cook and keep your man happy. And she found herself in this whole new world after her husband left. She went to camp. All these different things went down, and that man came along at the right time and said the right shit. And that is how I feel about it. And I believe that he is skilled at it. I believe he is skilled at being able to say the right thing to the right woman at the right time. Now that's my 2 cents. All right. So then let me go back to my notes, y'all, because this is the part. This where it gets good. This is where it gets good. And this is the one that had everybody's mouth like this last night. So in the midst of this conversation, they got, like I said, they got to arguing, and Marge and Teresa went back and forth. Melissa and Teresa, child, they was arguing. That's when Andy called them assholes and told them to shut up. And I was with Andy because by the time it got to this, they just wouldn't shut up. They just wouldn't shut up. They just wouldn't shut up. So then when they were in Ireland, remember the night that Melissa got drunk and she was like, "Oh, let me drunk text my ex," and Teresa was like, "She's gonna text her ex, her ex. Oh my gosh, she's doing that to my brother. Oh my gosh, y'all." Teresa knew what she was doing. Teresa knew what she was saying because come to find out, I mean, Melissa knew what she was doing and knew she was saying. And I think she was trolling Teresa because come to find out, Melissa already knew about the rumors. So I think she absolutely was trolling Melissa Teresa in that moment. And Teresa was eating it up. I just think that was disrespectful for her to say that about my husband. I mean, about her brother. I mean, shit, my brother, her husband, excuse me. I thought that was disrespectful. I mean, your kids are going to see that. I mean, you want your kids to see you talking about another man. She was like, girl, you just called somebody and see you next Tuesday. Do you want your kids to see that? Like Melissa, I mean, and then Teresa tried to explain how it was any different. Child, Melissa was trolling your ass. She knew exactly what she was saying. She was drunk, but she knew what she was saying. And she was doing it. And that's why Joe didn't give a damn because they already knew what it was. So here is the big kicker. Y'all, remember how they was in Ireland and Jennifer told Danielle the big secret and made it a big deal. You can't say anything. You can't say anything. This is what Laura told us about Melissa, that Melissa allegedly blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah about the rumor, about the affair. And Danielle was sitting on it and sitting on it and sitting on it until she just couldn't keep it anymore. Danielle was looking for a moment too. Let's just be clear. But she just couldn't hold on to it anymore. And she just had to let it be known. And she just had to let it out, right? Right? And Jennifer was like, "No, girl, don't do that. No, don't tell Melissa. No, don't say it. No." Remember that? All of that, baby. Y'all listening to me? Girl, Melissa already knew about the rumor because Jennifer had already told her. So all of this acting with Danielle and don't say anything. Girl, don't say nothing. It's a secret. Don't say nothing. Teresa. Da, da, da. Now I understand why Melissa blew up the way she blew up. Now I understand why they were blaming Teresa for setting this up. And they were, because I was like, I'm not gonna lie. At the season finale, I was like, okay, I think they put in 20 on 10. Like, I don't think they could put this on Teresa that Jennifer did this and that Danielle did it at at the finale. I thought they was putting 20 on 10, right? I was like, I mean, I know Teresa be doing some shit, but I think they doing too much. Baby, they set Danielle ass up. They gave Danielle that information knowing that Danielle would not be able to resist at some point. Now, I don't think they planned it unless there was some background conversations that we don't know about. I don't know if they planned it that perfectly, but they definitely put it out there so it would be on the show. Jennifer, and that's what I said. If y'all go back and look at my review, I said it. I said I never understand why people be telling secrets knowing they on camera, thinking don't say anything. If at the very least it's gonna come up at the reunion, you putting it out there. I said it when she said it. They used Danielle to get that rumor out there. Now again, I'm not saying they planned for Danielle to make a big deal at the finale. I ain't saying that part. I think that was all on Danielle. But they absolutely set her up. And then she gonna sit there, they're gonna ask her, do you feel set up? No, I mean, I don't feel set up. Baby, as soon as they went to commercial break, baby, they showed Danielle go backstage to her husband. And the first thing she said to her husband was, they set me up. She thought she was whispering, girl. You know she was still mic'd and we got it. They set me up. Her husband was like, what? She was like, they fucking set me up. And Teresa was just sitting there like this. Now, like I said, I don't think they planned the finale piece. I think that was all on Danielle. But they absolutely used Danielle to get the story out there. Absolutely. Melissa played the role of being in the dark about the rumor. She befriended Danielle to get information out of her. Melissa is no better than Jen A. They all play the game. Yeah. You could tell he likes to be in charge by the way he was in the dressing room with no shirt on. Right. What was that about, G Mama 4? What, Louis, don't nobody want to see that. Oh, you wanna. Teresa has been the storyline since they came on the show, and Teresa has made them her storyline for the past 4 years. All three of them need to go. Not Danielle sound like Marion Barry. That bitch set me up. Oh yeah, Danielle was, yeah, she definitely was scared. But baby, did you see the looks on their face? Did you see Teresa's look? Did you hear Teresa deny it? Now again, I know they might have edited. Maybe they edited that part out. But did y'all see Teresa deny it? I didn't see Teresa deny it. Did y'all see Teresa say no, it wasn't me? No, I didn't set you up. No, I didn't do it. Did y'all see it? Because I didn't see it. I didn't see Teresa deny it. And Jennifer's face looked like fuck. Jennifer's face was like, did you see that? Now again, it could be editing. But baby, I did not see Teresa deny it at all. Jen apologized for it coming off like a setup because it was. Melissa wanted the rumor to come out to make Teresa look bad. Jen wanted it out to make Marge look bad. Danielle wanted the moment. Child, it was a whole lot of humping around. Oh shoot. It was a whole lot of humping around, y'all. A whole lot of humping around. Hey Sharon, hey boo. She said, purple face, prime face, purple face, child. It was a whole lot of humping around. Now, but now it does make sense why the more and more information that came out about Louis and this private investigator and all the things that allegedly was happening with this private investigator. Now, honestly, y'all, it is making a little bit more sense why they were blaming Teresa. To be honest. To be honest. Danielle could have had a Portia moment with that setup. Child. Who said that? Yep, she could have had a backstage. I can't believe y'all did that to me. I'm so hurt. I thought we were cool. But I do think Danielle's scared of Teresa. I think she's scared of Teresa. All right. I think I'm almost at the end of my notes, child. That's almost at the end of this episode, child. Teresa, I wrote in my notes, Teresa lies, takes no responsibility for anything. And then I wrote, did spread rumors. And then, okay, so let me look at my other notes, y'all, because I think, hold on. I know we're almost at the end. Let me look at my other notes. Y'all know I got notes everywhere, child. Okay. Andy mumbling about Teresa. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a minute. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Marge friend tried to get on the show. Rachel Jennifer knows you. Okay, supposedly Melissa. Okay, all right. Marge special. Okay. All right. I think that's all the notes I have. Did I miss anything? Um, because that was pretty much the end. Now they tried to bring Jen Fessler in it. They tried to ask Jen Fessler, "Do you think that was a setup?" Jen Fessler was like, She said, "Look, it looked real suspect to me." She said, "But Danielle did what Danielle did." Okay, but sorry, I don't. Again, I don't know why this thing doing this. Um, and then they tried to bring Jen Fessler in on something else. She said, don't put me in that. She said, I ain't in it. They need to bring. I like Jen Fessler, and I think they need to bring her back full time next season. I like her. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna like her if they bring her back full time, but I like Jen. I think she's got some stories to tell. Um, so then Andy was nervous. Baby Andy was nervous. He went backstage. He had a conversation with Louis. He was worried. He was like, listen, temperatures are high. It's a lot going on. A lot has been said. He said, listen, if something go down, I'm the first line of defense. I need you to stay cool. Louis was like, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for checking on me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Baby, Andy went over to Joe Gorga and was like, Joe, do not get your ass out that seat. Baby Joe, listen, Andy was worried that there was gonna be fisticuffs. Andy was worried, honey. Jen said she didn't tell Danielle because it was a part of the storyline. At first, I was thinking Jen didn't make sense, but Melissa has a fake storyline every season, so I get it. Hmm. Child. Next week is a mess. Next week is gonna be a mess. Something else happened. I'm forgetting. Something else I think happened, and I think I'm forgetting it. But anyway, that's the gist of it. Now, something came out today, and I'm gonna read y'all this story. I'm gonna read y'all this story. I don't like Jen. You don't like Jen Fester? I like Jen. Let me read y'all this information. This is coming from yahoo.com. Louis Ruela's ex-fiancee Vanessa Reisler filed a restraining order amid harassment complaints. So let's listen. Louis, Jen Aiden. Oh yeah, she gets on my nerves. Louis Ruelas has been hit with a restraining order. The allegation is that Louis hired Richard Bodiddy, the same guy, private investigation company to place his documented employee, Elaine Boxer, as a fraudulent undercover covert plant using the fake name Elena Birkenheimer to stalk, harass, and otherwise appear as a patient of my client under false pretenses. Reisner's attorney, Douglas Anton, exclusively told Us Weekly on Wednesday, alleging that Ruelas is attempting to intimidate the therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse. Now, this one I don't understand. Girl, that's what you do for a living, but you was engaged to a narcissist? I need to know when you got that certification. Anyway, Anton claims that Boxer had visited Reiser 3 or 4 times as a patient, noting that she strangely asked about the psychologist's past relationship with Ruelas. The protective order, which was allegedly deemed confidential by the court, was ultimately sought out of fear. The manner in which Louis went about fraudulently invading her profession raises the level of fear in that. Even with prior civil restraining orders, agreements in place that codify that he and she are mutually not to have this type of conduct or to each other, he seemingly acts with contempt of the same. The New Jersey based lawyer told us this has to stop. So that we are clear, it is a 100% documented evidentiary fact that the woman who faked being a patient of my client for several sessions was at that time an employee of Bo Diddy. The only question is whether or not is it reasonable to suspect that the defendant hired him. Was he in on the covert spy ring? Okay. Diddy stated that he has not been hired to investigate cast members, but would not confirm or deny whether he was hired to place a client with the ex fiance. Um, okay. So this article is a little convoluted. The article I read earlier was a lot more clear. So basically, this what had happened. Louis' ex-fiance is a psychiatrist who specializes in narcissistic behavior. This woman started seeing her as a patient, but when they were in their sessions, she would often ask about Louis, about her experiences with Louis, her relationship with Louis, even asking her one time, well, if Louis and Teresa were ever to break up, would you take him back? Would you ever want to get back with him? She thought it was weird, but knowing that their relationship had become public information because of the reality show, she sort of took it with a grain of salt. Well, what happened was this woman, after her third session, her payment declined. And after she was not able to secure her money after 30 days, she went to whatever, I guess, what her normal right. That's what I'm. Yeah, thank you, O Street. Um, whatever her normal method is of trying to, reconcile delinquent balances. They started doing research and they started, trying to, do a background check, Social Security, to try to skip trace on this woman to get so they could get their damn money because she was paying with a prepaid card, right? Well, in the process of them investigating, trying to find her, trying to skip trace and trying to find her, that is when they found out that she was an employee of Mr. Bo Diddy. Well, of course, it's so facto. We know that Bo Diddy has a connection to Louis. He told everybody on the damn show that Bo Diddy is a really good friend of his and that he was investigating the people on the show. And that is what made this woman seek out a restraining order. They were able to prove that the woman used a fake name, and they were able to prove that the real woman worked for, as of February of 2023, was an employee of Mr. Bo Diddy. So she sought out a restraining order against Louis. Y'all, let me say this. We already know that his business is allegedly under investigation. We found out that he had another business abruptly shut down. The employees didn't even know nothing about it. They calling him and he ain't answering the door. Answering the phone. We also found out remember back around Christmas, I told y'all that he bought them fake Cartier watches for Teresa's daughters that they was flashing all on Instagram, and the fake police busted them on Instagram and showed all the examples of why it was a fake Cartier watch. It was in the box wrong, and it was the wrong kind of box and all of that. And again, I don't think that he bought fake bracelets because he's cheap. Because he's trying to get a good bargain. I think he's trying to pretend like he missed the big stuff and he ain't got the money like that. That's what I think had happened. That's what I think had happened. It's a coincidence in my Nene voice, right? Y'all, Louis ain't something about right. Something about Louis ain't right. That's my opinion. Something about Louis ain't right, and I told y'all I'm gonna give it about 2 filming years, not 2 calendar years, 2 filming years. Not season 14, but by season 15, that's my prediction. By season 15, I think that Teresa, I think it's gonna be trouble in paradise, and I think at some point Teresa's storyline is gonna be about reconciling with her husband. With her brother. Listen, here's what we know about people who have abusive behaviors, and I'm not saying this man is beating Teresa, but I do think he's manipulative, and I do think there's a lot of manipulation in there, and I think there may be some verbal. Haven't there been instances where we've seen um Louis talk to Teresa a little crazy? Like, I've seen it. It's been a couple of examples. I've said it in my reviews. So this is what I'm gonna say. One of the first things they do is they isolate you from the people you love. They isolate you from your friends. They isolate you from your family. They convince you that they are the only one. They get in good with your family. The thing with Teresa is you got it good. You really only had to go through Joe and her kids, right? Because her ex-husband ain't here to really see things for what it is. And you all you had to do was get in good with the daughters, right? You get in good with the daughters, but you couldn't fool Joe. Now is Joe and Melissa perfect people? No. Do they got some shit with them? Absolutely they do. But ultimately, I think Joe, because like Teresa said, when you liked him in the beginning, that should be all the more reason why you asking questions, Teresa. Well, y'all were cool in the beginning. You liked him in the beginning. What's the issue now? Again, I'm not going to sit here and act like that Joe Gorga and Melissa Gorga are perfect and Teresa's all wrong and they're all right by no stretch of the imagination. But when it comes to Louis, listen, everybody ain't lying on you, sir. Marge pulled out evidence. Marge was able to show, she pulled out her receipts and she showed where Louis' cell phone number called her son's job. Now, Teresa was like, that's his number, but that's when they brought up the whole thing about people's phones being spoofed and the phone calls being spoofed. And Andy was like, well, yeah, I've gotten some of those calls too. Listen, I'm not putting nothing past Louis at this point. At my point right now, we're looking at a Lifetime movie unfolding. Y'all see how them men, them crazy ass men in them Lifetime movies be setting shit up. For all we know, Louis is setting it up to give himself plausible deniability. He could be setting up this. It ain't hard to do a spoof. My cousin does it to us all the time. He be sitting right there in the room with us, and he'll call us from a whole nother number, and he does it. And he thinks it's the funniest shit. I'm like, you too old to be playing these games, sir. You 50 something years old. You think this is funny, but he thinks it's the funniest thing. He does it all the time. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just being honest. That's my opinion. I think that Louis could have. I'm not saying he did it. I'm saying Louis could have very well set up a spoof call to give himself this whole spoof situation to give him plausible deniability. But what Marge's son, and I mean, we didn't hear from his son, of course, we heard from Marge. But Marge has the phone records. She had the printout of the phone records showing where Louis' cell phone called her son's job. Now, I don't mean no harm. I don't know none of these people personally, okay? But I don't think that Marge would go this far out of her way to lie. Rachel definitely doesn't have a reason to make up a lie on Louis calling the mother, right? Definitely doesn't have a reason to lie on Louis. And then you have Frank Sr. talking about putting Frank Jr.'s business out there. And from the clip we see next week, Dolores sort of confirms it because the clip we saw next week, Dolores is like, well, he's got him a new job now, which implies that he lost the job with Louis. I mean, right, and the phone was a landline. Right. I'm telling y'all, this is a Lifetime movie. This is a Lifetime movie. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you who else I'm worried about. And I don't mean in any type of abusive way. So I'm not talking about sexual assault or nothing. So I don't want y'all to go down that hole. But I'm worried about them girls. I'm worried about how Louis might be manipulating those girls. Now that's my opinion. I think Teresa is in trouble. And I'm not trying to be hyper sensitive or anything like that, but I think Teresa's in trouble. Yep, no prenup. Yeah, Art World, when he said let's play, you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the Joker from Batman. That reminded me of the Joker. He looked like the Joker. That smile and the way he turns red. Oh my gosh. Louis, something ain't right with him, y'all. That's my opinion. Right. Frankie did say it wasn't true. However, Frank Sr. is a lot of things, but I don't think Frank Sr. would make that up. I don't think he would lie on his son. I don't think he would bring his son into a storyline. That's my opinion. Now, I know I listened to some reviews today and somebody said, well, Frank doesn't have a storyline anymore now that him and Dolores aren't cool. But y'all got to remember, when I say y'all, you know what I'm saying, the fans have to remember Real Housewives of New Jersey is the only franchise where the husbands get paid. Frank will create. They have whole scenes that they film. Y'all ever pay attention to how much the husbands film together? Frank don't need a damn storyline. None of the other husbands have storylines other than being their wives, and they get paid. Frank, he's got a girlfriend that he's brought around everybody. Frank and Dolores will always have a storyline. Okay, if Frank really want to create a storyline, all he got to do is film with David. Now we know David never wanted to be on the show, and that's probably why we don't see David now. But if he could convince David to film, hell, to be perfectly honest, without even bringing up Frank Jr., Frank Sr. got a storyline next season as it relates to Louis. That's Joe's best friend. So I'm not saying that Frank isn't capable of lying. I mean, hell, he cheated on Dolores and all that other stuff. He's absolutely capable of lying. I don't think he would bring his son into it. I don't think he would. That's my opinion. I don't think he would bring his son into it. Big Frankie wouldn't lie about his kid in that kind of way. I don't think so. And do it in front of Dolores. Yeah. I don't think I mean, that type, like, would he lie about maybe his son having a girlfriend? Maybe. Would he lie about maybe his son, but I don't think he would lie about this. I don't think he would bring his son into this whole situation with Louis. I don't think so. That's my opinion. But other people feel that maybe he's looking for a storyline, and he might be. I don't know. I don't think. I think that Frank needs a storyline? Yes, I do. That I do. But I don't think this would be it. I don't think he would bring his son into it in this way. That's my opinion. We'll see next week, though. I think it gets a little deeper next week. The guys come out next week, and I think it gets a little deeper. So we'll see. I don't think Louis can manipulate Gia. I'm gonna say this. What's the other one? It's Gia? It's 4 girls all together. I think I'm not gonna say that I don't think Louis will be able to manipulate Gia, but what I will say is I think Gia will see it first. I think Gia will see it before Teresa will. The problem, though, again, Louis is doing a good job of alienating them. Gia and Joe have this whole thing now where they've been beefing and going back and forth. I believe, and again, I know that Joe Gorga is a lot, but I just believe, I believe that Gia inserted herself when Joe said that Gia told me to leave Melissa. I believe that Gia inserted herself. I do. I'm not saying that she said those exact words because I don't think she would say you need to leave Melissa. But I do think she inserted herself in that situation. I do. But I think that's Louis' influence. I would believe Frank more if Dolores said it to be true. Okay. Phil, hey, my love. So listen, next week, I know I said I would drop the link, but I didn't think I was going to be here an hour and a half talking. Next week, I will, and Phil asked me to do this, so I'm glad you're here, Phil. Next week for the season finale, excuse me, y'all. Next week for the season finale, baby, we will drop the link, okay? We will drop the link. We will have a whole panel. Phil asked me to do that. He asked me to do the live review for the reunion. And I promised one. I didn't think I was going to go live for part 2, baby. I didn't know it was going to be this good, okay? But we will definitely go live next week. I'm gonna try to schedule it for Tuesday. So right after the reunion, I'm gonna try to, if nothing comes up on my schedule between now and next Tuesday, we will do the part 3. We will do live immediately after the reunion. And I will drop the link. Because y'all know why? Because next Tuesday is my last day with students. Hey, you got a lot of opinions, Phil? Well, Phil, do you want to come up now and say something? Because you are the one that asked me. I got a few minutes. Or do you want to wait till next week when we do the whole panel? I mean, you got something you want to get off your chest right now, I will drop the link for you. If you got something you want to get off your chest right now, I will drop the link, Phil. But for like 15 minutes. It's 8:30, about 15 minutes. I'll drop the link for a few minutes. But next week, I will do a whole panel. Hold on. I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna give y'all about 15 minutes because I want to try to get some reviews. I haven't done any reviews because last night the daggone Bishop went live, child. You know that took up all that time. Okay. Phil's gonna come up. Come on up, Phil. There's the link. But yeah, again, I'm not saying that Melissa is all wrong. Trust me. I'm not saying that Melissa is all right. By no stretch of the imagination. Am I saying that? Because baby Melissa, whoo, whoo. Okay, here come Phil. I want to hear what he has to say. Hey Phil.
Hey, Really BTV, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and in color. Hey boo.
Hey, boo, want to say love you, love your channel. So funny, so intelligent and thoughtful. Love the commentary, not overboard. Just love, love, love you so much. Really appreciate this opportunity. All right, the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Baby, let me tell you, if you don't watch
Listen,
Jersey, Jersey is kind of good. You got to get into Jersey, people, if you ain't watching Jersey.
listen, reunion better than the season though, for real though.
Real talk, it is. So I'm gonna make it quick. My opinions of Real Housewives New Jersey. Everybody is wrong. Everybody. I'm sorry, Teresa. I like Teresa, but I don't think Teresa is perfect. I don't think Melissa and Joe is perfect. I don't trust Margaret. And the biggest disappointment of last night was Danielle. Danielle was the biggest disappointment. Nobody set you up. They told you not to say nothing, and you wanted to make a moment. So you can't blame people when they say, no, don't say nothing, but you just feel that you are obligated to say something. You played yourself, sis.
Okay.
Um,
Ooh, okay.
with Melissa and Teresa, I think it's truth on both sides. I believe I
Agreed.
believe Joe and Melissa came on this show to spite Teresa. I think it's sad to see them really not have family but each other and them not make it work for the sake of the show. I do think when Melissa sits on the end of that couch too many times, her and Joe are gonna come after Teresa. Cause I thought they were mad because Melissa wasn't in the wedding. Then I thought it was mad because her mama was invited. Now it's because of this alleged rumor of you kissing somebody. Yeah, I can't get with Melissa. Um, Teresa, Teresa, what I'm gonna say? Teresa, you and Louis are too enmeshed with your friends. He should have not been giving little Frankie a job. He should have not been going into business with your brother. Y'all don't even know this man. Y'all know nothing about this man. I think Frank is a mooch. Big Frank can definitely go, in my opinion. He can go. He's a mooch. How you living with your ex-wife's new boyfriend? Like, no, he can go. Big Frank can go. I'm over Big Frank.
Yeah, that is a lie.
Rachel,
That was crazy when they told us that. That was crazy.
yeah, it's weird. Come on now. We black like this, not black like this. Rachel, I don't know. I wanna like Rachel, but something about Rachel I don't like. And you're gonna be real shocked at this one. I don't like Jen Fessler.
I like her. I like her.
You
I
know,
like her. I think she's annoying, but I like her.
I'm not a Jen Fessler fan. I think she's fake. I don't like Marge. I'm sorry. I do believe that Marge has information on all of those women. I believe, I'm sorry, and I believe that Marge is the one that came up with this rumor about Evan because they said it at one of them reunions before. And when they tried to tell her, they tried to shut it down. She was like, "Don't you say that I said that." I believe I believe Marge be having an arsenal against all the women. That's just me. I don't trust Marge. Um, I don't know. I want I want Melissa and Teresa. I want really Teresa and Joe because they're the real issues. Melissa is secondary and Louis is secondary. I want Teresa and Joe to really think about y'all are family. When this show is gone, that's you only have each other. Really, they only have each other because they don't talk to Kathy anymore, both of them. So I really want them to really work. I think it's sad. I think it's really sad. Louis, I don't think Louis is perfect. I don't think he is perfect. But I don't think he's the reason behind that all y'all having all these other issues. Because that Bo Dietl person said, I don't know that man. So I don't know. I'm just weird on New Jersey. Some people don't like Teresa. I like Teresa. But Melissa also is right. When they showed the pictures last week of Teresa being out to dinner with them, I'm like, Teresa, you lying. She got pictures. You've been to dinner with them. But I just think that
And
I
that's the
think
thing.
Melissa.
Like, I think that Teresa. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, you go. This your show. I'm just a guest.
No, but I wanted you to get it all out, boo. What I was gonna say about Teresa though is this: I think that I say it all the time. You lie when the truth will do. You could have said, "Listen, I feel like they weren't as supportive as I needed them to be when I was going through all of that. When my husband was in jail, though he had been deported, and I was going through my divorce. I had four girls to raise, and I was feeling very lonely at that time. Our parents were sick, like a lot happened, and I don't feel like they were as supportive as I needed them to be. You see how that changes the conversation? Instead of saying they
Yes.
never invited me out to dinner, they never, just like when she said Joe never visited me in jail. He only visited me one time. All Melissa had to do was say he wasn't on the list. You know what I mean? Like instead of saying, I know it took a while for me to get
Hmm.
him on the list, but once I got him on the list, he only came to see me once. See, it you see how but Teresa wants to play victim, so she wants to exaggerate, and it just leaves the door wide open for Melissa to be like, nope, this is what happened. Nope, nope, nope. She had the pictures ready to show us. She had, you know what I mean? Like, so again, do I think Melissa and Joe? Hell no. Melissa and Joe got their shit with them too. But trust me. But Teresa makes it so easy for them to show her to be a liar, and it just like that. The whole season, we sitting on this rumor, and come to find out that not only did Teresa know about it, but they had a whole conversation, a whole intervention with Joe about how much of a hoe Melissa was and how he needed to leave her. It's crazy, right? It's like, wait a minute. All of this was happening?
It's definitely crazy. And I Teresa, I don't think Teresa I don't think Teresa is dumb, but I think when she has the spotlight on her, she just goes into this fog. Because if when she's not in like a heated debate, and sometimes when you listen to Teresa, she makes sense. But when she's like in that debate in that moment, Teresa is like dumb. You be like, Teresa, are you listening? Are you here with us? Or are you up the street? Now, what I will say about what you just mentioned a few moments before you let me on, Gia, I do think Gia inserted herself. But I also think Gia is like the rest of us. We saw our moms and our aunts get into it, or somebody get into it, and we had our little opinions too. We just didn't share them. I think Gia is sharing them. I don't like Melissa, and I don't like the kids being involved. I really don't. I think Joe and Melissa was wrong for saying, "Oh, your kids wouldn't have eat if it wasn't for us." Like, don't make us feel like you were obligated and it was something that you didn't want to do. I felt the girls had the right to be upset with that statement. I hope Gia did not tell Joe to leave his wife. I really don't. I don't like. I wish Gia would step back, but to be honest, Gia is a young woman. She's an adult, whether we like it or not. She's a college educated woman. She has her opinion. Should she share her opinion so much? No, but she is a young woman. She's an adult. If she sees things she doesn't like, she technically she has the right to share. But where we come from, you still respect your elders. So
I
that's my
agree,
little
and I
piece
think
on
that's part of it
Gia.
too. No, I appreciate it, and I agree. I think that was part of it too. Gia was allowed to be in a adult place. See, the difference is, yeah, when we were kids or when we were younger, because you're right, she's not a kid. We had opinions, but we weren't allowed at the adult table. You know what I'm saying? She was asked to be
Right.
at the adult table, so they allowed her at the adult table. So she got a whole confessional and everything. I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
she might be on payroll for all we know.
Yeah, I it's sad, and it's like we're watching this family literally be destroyed. But I do think, honestly, like Teresa, I think Teresa is looking for love. I think Louis is giving her something that she's missing or that she's yearning for, that Joe didn't give her. I do think, and I may be out on an island by myself with this. Last season, when she told Melissa not to say nothing about her relationship, like I was with Teresa. If I'm telling you something as my sister, you don't run back and tell everybody else. You don't do that. If I say I don't want you talking about him, oh, Teresa told me I think Melissa don't like Teresa either. And I want Melissa to be honest with that. You don't like me and I don't like you. All that family, I hate when they do that family. I think that is so whack. In unpopular opinion, Joe wants to be the star of this show. But unfortunately, you will never be over Teresa. Never. Teresa has given more than any other housewife. I mean, y'all not beating Teresa. I'm sorry. And Melissa, without Joe, they don't want you. You're not that great of a housewife either. But Joe wants to be the head honcho. He wants to be out there more than Teresa. And it's like, no, Joe, you need to step back. This is for the women. Let the men do their part. He's too much for me sometimes. I think Joe is too much. It's like you trying to be the star. He's literally the male Teresa. And that's a lot because Teresa is a
Yeah,
lot for a
like I
woman.
said, I yeah, and I do think Joe does a lot. I agree. I think Joe definitely wants to be. He definitely wants to be a housewife. He definitely is a star. And I have a different vantage point because I have not been watching it from the beginning. So my institutional knowledge is limited, and I accept that. I accept that I don't know all. Like, who is Kathy? Who is the Kathy you said earlier? Who is that?
Kathy, so okay. Season 3, Kathy is their cousin on their father's side. So she's the cousin. So season 3, Kathy and
Okay.
Melissa was added to the show. And Teresa has always been upset saying, y'all came onto the show and didn't tell me. Because when
Okay.
if you I'm gonna give you a little history because I've been there from the start with Jersey Baby. When Teresa pushed Andy at the
Okay. Give me
reunion, when Teresa pushed Andy at the
uh-huh.
reunion, Danielle had made a comment saying, "Did you even acknowledge your nephew?" Because then allegedly Danielle had been in contact with Melissa saying that her and Teresa wasn't getting along. That's why she pushed Andy to try to attack Danielle because she brought up her family. Then season 3, now you see the the sister-in-law and the cousin at the christening. And if you need episode 1, season 3, that is the complete utter breakdown of that relationship. That christening was destroyed. And I'm sorry,
Is that when they got
unpopular opinion.
Is that when Joe?
Yes.
Is that is that when
No,
Joe? Okay,
no,
okay, okay. Go ahead. Okay.
that's when Joe Gorga attacked Teresa for just coming up to saying congratulations. They were weird to Teresa. They thought that she was putting on for the camera, and it kicked off. And then you kind of see that's the real breakdown. And then Teresa did do stuff to try to break up their marriage. Teresa wasn't great. That's the crazy thing about me and Teresa. Teresa was very nasty to Melissa, and she said a lot of things. She tried to bring people on to try to tear down Melissa. And Teresa wasn't great. And I thought she didn't get along with Kathy either. I think Joe Judice was just too much in her ear. But I'm shocked to see after she goes to jail, the parents passed away and they still get to this point. I mean, good Lord, what's wrong with y'all? That's your brother and sister. But it's a
Maybe
lot, you know.
December I'll go back and watch. Maybe I'll because I never watched. I never watched Jersey. I heard different stuff, but all I knew was Teresa Judice and that she went to jail. Honestly, I really didn't know nothing else, child. So maybe I'll go back and look at some of the past seasons, like go back and binge it, so I can get some of the background. So next week, so
It,
y'all Phil asked me to do a call in. So next week for part 3, I'm gonna do a call in. I'm gonna let you guys come up. And like I said, unless something comes up between now and Tuesday that I don't know about, we will do it immediately after the reunion, honey, when it's fresh and new. Phil, so you make sure you here next Tuesday, Phil.
I
You
will
come
be.
on
I'll
up.
be here with bells on. Thank you so much, Really B. I
Be my
appreciate you.
co-host.
Love the content.
Thank you so much. And I love Phil because me and Phil disagree a lot, but we always have a good conversation about it. And y'all know I love that. Y'all know I love that.
Yes, it's all love. We ain't got to fight with each other. Stop fighting and trying to attack and kill one another. You know, we can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Really B.
All right. Mwah. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Listen, we're gonna be back next Tuesday after part 3, after the men come out and Louis come out, and we are definitely going to talk about it. And I know that Tracy gonna come up. I know little baby gonna come up. I'm gonna get y'all over here. Phil said he gonna come back, and the rest of you guys are definitely welcome. So next Tuesday at let's do like 9:15, 9:20. Okay, and we're gonna go live and we're gonna talk about part 3. I'm gonna go ahead and schedule it. The only way I'll cancel it is if something happens. That's just it's a week in advance. Anything can happen. So, but we're gonna do it. Okay, y'all. Mwah. I'm out of here. I'm gonna try to get y'all some reviews tonight. I said that last night, and then the bishop went live, child. And we had to, clown him. So I'm gonna try to get y'all some reviews tonight. Okay. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.